ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, you can kind of recognize that song. Regardless, you should know what it means. That means that it is the weekend, and it's time for the James Freel Show. I am your host, James Freel. You may notice that the song rather, sounds pretty terrible. And to be honest, the whole purpose of that was to make it sound kind of spooky. The only way you could be listening to this is by the YouTube channel that I upload it to, and you can notice that I even mixed up the graphic a little bit, put some little festive pumpkins on there. This is definitely I like to keep it a little festive around here. In all seriousness, this is a Halloween edition of the James Real Show. All the three major holidays are going to get their own little treatment like that. I don't know how I'm going to be able to theme the song for Thanksgiving, but rest assured, something will happen. Yes, this is the last episode. By next week, for next week's episode, the show will Halloween will be in the past, and I want to talk about it while it's now. I mean, I'm not going to spend the whole show talking about it, but nonetheless, it's going to be prevalent. Like I said, I like to keep things festive on here. That's how far I go to try to entertain people. You will also notice that hopefully what I do makes a difference here. I'm back in the studio after a 2 week hiatus of doing the bootleg version, and frankly, I was even considering doing the bootleg version tonight. But now that I've got all this set up, I think I made the right decision in determining to do this itself. Wow, my conversation skills really get put out on display when I do this. Alright, but before we get into the rambling that you've come to be accustomed to on this program, first we're gonna do news for the uninformed. The FBI announced that they have a man in custody who allegedly committed the or sending bombs to prominent Democratic leaders. The man is, in fact, hold on, alright, I'm not gonna lie. Uh, yeah, I haven't done my homework on this. Basically, from what I understand, that's the news story for today. The FBI got a hold of the dude who had been sending all of those bombs to those Democratic leaders. And good, that guy sounds like a crazy person. He needs to go to jail for, I think, yeah, 5 federal charges, I believe it was. He's like 56 years old. Yeah, I think he should probably spend the rest of his life in jail. Especially because, if I understand correctly, he had a history of violence. He said pretending that no one heard his cell phone go off in the background. In sports, the World Series is underway in full force. The Boston Red Sox are playing the Los Angeles Dodgers. Right now, the Red Sox, on the other hand, it's a good time to be a Red Sox fan. They are up 2-0 in the World Series, and Game 3 is scheduled for now o'clock. It's 8:30 8:31, just turned 8:31 Eastern Time, and I'm watching it. It's on behind me right now. I'm not gonna pretend like I know any of these people's names, but it's the bottom of the first 2 outs, and there's the pitch, and it's an 84 mile per hour ball, and I am back talking into the microphone. And you know what? I did not look up anything for pop culture, and hold on, well, but that's not how it's gonna work here. I'm not just gonna not have it and not do it. Oh, Firefox's updates, and we'll start in a few moments. Oh, geez, that doesn't sound good because I'm running a lot of RAM or whatever it's called. I'll come back. I'll come back to it. We're gonna jump into the rambling, and we'll see where it goes. So, Uh, tell you the truth, I did not prepare any rambling templates. I think next week I'll be back in the swing of things. The past month has been a bit crazy with all of the different times that I had been doing the bootleg version. I really had no excuse last week. Did I? I don't think so. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead and, as I think I mentioned a few episodes ago, that I had done or planned to do Sober October, and really the only part of Sober October that I wanted, that was important to me, was not drinking alcohol. It's just good to give your liver a vacation. I've talked about alcohol quite a bit on this program. It's gonna sound bad for a second. Hold on. Gotta adjust the mic. Um, I've talked about alcohol. I haven't been shy about how much I consume, and I'm not necessarily ashamed of it, but I'm not proud of it. I mean, it can't be healthy. I mean, I can easily watch a football game and go through 3 or 4 beers, and I know to a lot of people out there that may not sound like a lot, and to a lot of people out there that might sound like, oh my gosh, that's insanely amount. I don't know, because everyone's different. Try to not touch the cable so you don't hear this. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid that. It makes it sound more hacky than it needs to. But in reflection, I will say with Sober October wrapping up and not drinking alcohol, it's a good experience. I do feel in many ways that it improves my overall, like I'm just living a much better life. My quality of life goes up. I think it's true what people have said about alcohol. You're just borrowing happiness from tomorrow, and the interest rate is crazy. Because if you drink too many, you wake up with a killer headache, you feel a little nauseous. It makes sense. It really does. But, I'll probably, sounds like a good idea for me to do is like alternate months. Now, of course, I'm gonna drink both November and December. You can't get through the holidays like that. Oh, geez, so I want to sound more like an alcoholic by discussing my drinking habits that in depth. No, I do not want to do that. Let's move on. So last weekend, I went to a pumpkin festival, and it was a very good time. It was a bit difficult to enjoy the weekend because I had that huge test, which I did very well on Wednesday. But I was still able to enjoy a nice time at a pumpkin festival. I enjoy a lot of the live music they have there. That's one of my favorite elements. What I don't like is when you go to a pumpkin festival in your hometown and you run into a lot of, you know what, I don't even mind that much running into people. I don't approach them, and if we make awkward eye contact, I smile and nod my head back and leave it at that. If they want to talk, they can come approach me. A lot of people seems to be that little bit of arrogance that people have when it comes to meeting people from their past. It's like, oh, I don't want to talk to them. I mean, maybe I don't most of the time, um, but you don't have to avoid people. Not that anyone did that. I get that vibe from people sometimes. Yeah, the live music was good. There was a good country band. I had a Geta burger. It was $6, and it was okay. It was very. It was the most commercially packaged Geta you could possibly get. If you don't know what Geta is, look it up because I think that might be a regional thing that only someone who is from this area would be familiar with. But it's one of those things. It's really, really bad for you. I think it tastes pretty good. It had clearly had been cooked like 20 minutes before. It was one of those things where production and selling quickly was more important than to anything else. And it's a great time of year. Um, One thing about it is they have this setup. It's like stacks of hay with a design on it, and that was the place to get your photo taken. And what was amazing to me is just seeing all the different people come up to get their photo taken there. And in the age of social media, you can see a lot of people from your past. I hope you can't hear that dog. You see a lot of people from your past who you hadn't talked to in a long time. And just to think, wow, they were standing in the same place I was in. Can someone explain chemistry to me? Because, or maybe metaphysics. I need someone to explain metaphysics to me. Because it's like, if we're in this galaxy, or even in this solar system, and everything's expanding, so everything's constantly moving, is that still the same bale of hay in every photo? Or is it even the same place? Not really. I mean, maybe the reference point is, I don't know. I really hope you can't hear those dogs barking in the background. You hear that? Bark. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent. about bales of hay and the universe. I just want someone to explain that to me. I'm gonna go ahead and do the odd thing of requesting that you actually contact me on social media and let me know if you can answer that for me. Not just asking to get interaction with someone. I genuinely would like to know. But overall, the Pumpkin Festival was a good time. I had family come in. It was my soon-to-be brother-in-law's birthday. He might come on this program sometime. I actually maybe might have a new episode of Conversations with James Freel because I have about 3 or 4 episodes on the shelf, and it's just a matter of cutting them together. And also, I gotta listen to them because sometimes when you make shows like that, you say things that not necessarily you'd regret, but I don't know if I want it. Other people might say things that you don't want to reflect or attach your name to. So that's one thing that holds that back. But it was his birthday, so we went over to the state of Kentucky. Newport, Kentucky. It might have been Covington. It was one of the, I think it was Covington. And we went to this taco place. It was very good. They had this pretty funny sign that said tacos so real Trump will want to build a wall around them or something like that. And oh, that was kind of funny. Without, anyone can laugh at that. You don't have to take a political angle on everything. I mean, it is true that Trump wants to build a wall against Mexico. And laughing at that joke, I don't think affiliates you with either side. Look at me trying to walk down the middle. Look at that. Trying to keep things midway so that no one gets upset and I don't ostracize or whatever the term is. Whatever it is. But when I got out of the car in Covington, this guy came up and he was walking by and we made eye contact and he came up and he's like, "Hey man," and I'm like, "What's up, buddy?" I try to be friendly with people. And he pulls out and I see that he's got like this piece of paper that's clearly from a jail. It's his name, it's got his photo on it, and he tells me he just got released from jail. He got dropped off here. And, he's asking for bus fare and all that. And as someone who has taken public transportation a lot, I hear this same story a lot. Although the just being released from jail was a new touch that I had not heard before. This guy really went out of his way to do it. But the reason I didn't buy his story, and I'm not trying to sound like a jerk, whoa, something just dripped down. Anyway, I did not buy his story for this reason, and you can correct me if I have given to people in public transportation to help them out before. I think you can generally tell, but I mean, taking the bus and I have to take 2 separate buses. I get asked on average 2 or 3 times a day, and if I were to give to everyone, I don't know. I'm doing my best not to try to not sound selfish. I also think that I do look like the kind of guy who would give, and that's one of the reasons I get targeted a lot. That's why he approached me. But I see the jail form and it looks pretty official, and it says Hamilton County prison system or Department of Justice, Corrections, or whatever. Hamilton County is in Ohio. It's right across the river, but correct me if I'm wrong, but we were not only across city lines, not only were we across county lines, we were across state lines. And he told me he had just got released like 30 minutes ago. Now, please let me know if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that prisons don't bring their prisoners across state lines to release them. If I'm wrong, please correct me, because I want to be corrected, but that seems like a red flag to me. And that tells me this guy's being dishonest, and I don't have a hard time telling people no because I've gotten so much practice at it. I try not to be mean. I just say, "Hey, sorry, not today. Good luck." I did that, and then he walked 2 feet away and then started to cry and stuff, and I'm like, oh boy. Yeah, so I'm gonna go inside now What kind of annoyed me with that is he knew I wasn't gonna give it to him, and I think he may have known that I had him sort of figured out. But he just had to try to make me feel bad that one last time, and it really it didn't work. Sorry if I'm a selfish jerk, but a lot of holes in your story. If you would have come up and said, "Hey man, could use a few dollars for a beer," if you're maybe honesty really is the best policy, or maybe I'm just saying that to try to make myself feel better. I'm not. No, I'm not gonna give money to everyone who asks for it. I got my own problems. Yeah, I mean, your problems may suck more, but this is a dangerous topic I'm going down, and so I'm going to quickly pull the steering wheel to the left to try to avert away from this because I could end up saying something that belongs on an episode of Conversations with James Freel that will get shelved and never listened to. Anyway, so sports is a thing. So this past weekend I was also without a vehicle. I'm with one now, but I had to get it looked at because that large, intense, loud squealing. I think I talked about this last week happened, and took it in. Rear brakes fell off, which last time I took my car in, they told me they didn't need to be changed now, but they were getting worn down, so I might want to consider it soon. And the rotor damage, I guess, is the stupid tax I pay. There's nothing that broke the bank, but yeah, I probably should have got the rear brakes changed when I had the chance. I'm gonna hit the pause button here because my throat is thirsty. All right, I'm back, and this is the problem when I do that. I can't remember what it was I was talking about. See, I'm gonna hit the pause button. It can only be for a few seconds. There, I did it for about 2 minutes. All right, so over here we got the World Series still going on. It's not like what I was talking about was probably interesting. Man, there are empty seats there. I hope those people are just up to get a concession. So I think I was talking about. Was I about to talk about football? This past week, I only watched about 10 minutes worth of my Cincinnati Bengals game because they were playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, and it was Sunday night, and I have to get up early in the morning to go to my job. Because when I need a job done, I get someone with a job. I like that joke. I like that episode. I like memes that have come from that show. But they got clobbered. And I think what UT said was true. This is why we needed to win last week against Pittsburgh. I still think we can probably go, I don't know, 10-6 maybe. Let's look up the remainder of their schedule here. The Sports Nation, not Sports Nation, the Sports Alert app. It's pretty good. So right now they're 4-3. Yeah, I've watched every game from beginning to end except the Chiefs game, and I picked the right one to miss. Hold on there. Okay, I only hit pause so I could sneeze, and I'm glad I did because it was loud. Alright, so let's see who's favored. So Tampa Bay has a much better offense, or in total yards and passing yards. We have more rushing yards. Defense, they got us beat in total yards. We got them beat in passing yards, but defense per game. So yeah, we're on paper we should get clobbered by them, but I don't think we're going to. They're 3-3 though. Who knows? Who knows? All right, let's see. I think we beat the Buccaneers. Let's see. This is my prediction for the rest of the season. It is October 26th, 2018. All right, so I say we beat the Buccaneers. There's a bye week. We got to rest. Shoot. The Saints are good this year, aren't they? Yeah, they're 5-1. All right. Yeah, I think so. That leaves us 5-3. I think we go to 5-4 against the Saints. And then the Ravens, I don't know. The Ravens are looking good, and it's there. Yeah, I think we go 5-5 against the Ravens. I think we beat the Browns. We beat the Broncos. So then we're 7-5 at Chargers. All right, let's say. Okay, after that we have Raiders and Browns. Now, as much as I think I've always been saying this year, I think we're going to split with the Browns. This is the optimist in me. I think we're going to sweep the Browns. The teams we're going to lose to are going to be the Saints, Ravens, and then either the Chargers or the Steelers, but not both. I think we lose to the Chargers and then beat the Steelers. And I think you know what I bet it. I bet we beat. I bet the Steelers game is going to be a win and in situation, and it could be for both teams. It could be essentially a playoff game. Like whoever wins that, if that happens, and I want to make this clear, I may edit this out for later. Uh, and I might just tweet it out later. I'm calling it now. Uh, Sunday, 12:30 is going to be a win and in game for the Bengals. Uh, so yeah, I think we go 10-6. If not, there's no excuse for not going 9-7. There's really not. We're good enough to be doing that. And I think Marvin Lewis sticks around for next season, and I think he improves. I think the team gets only better next year. We'll see what happens. I'm not a sports expert. I want to see my team do well. Um, I really hope that I can one day witness the Bengals winning a Super Bowl. They've got a good 40 years to do it. Come on, guys. That'll mean that I'll have been a fan at that point for more than half of their existence. That's when I'll feel like a real fan when that happens. Yeah, so Who Dey, and all that jazz. I'm gonna spend the last. Jeez, I gotta stop again. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So I want to spend the last bit talking about some of my favorite Halloween memories. Of course, you always got. Let me see if I can remember what I. There's no way I'm gonna be able to. I've gone as Woody from Toy Story. I don't remember what I did in kindergarten. I remember second grade I went as the Grim Reaper. No, wait a second. Yeah, second grade was the Grim Reaper. Third grade I went as Anakin Skywalker from episode 2, and it had this ridiculous mask. Uh, it was it came with the robe, but it just had this plastic mask of Hayden Christensen's face, and it just looked absolutely ridiculous. Like it's not really one of those costumes that you would get a mask for because it's a person, it's not an alien, it's not a monster. So you're just trying to feel like, and it was made of plastic. And I remember at my elementary school they would have this costume parade where all the classes that were allowed to dress up would all walk around, and I wouldn't put on the mask because I felt really stupid. I just held it down by my knee. This is embarrassing. I can't remember what I did for fourth, fifth. I remember one year I went as a cat burglar. One year I had this really pretty scary mask, and I sat by a tree. And I remember a bunch of girls from my class came by, and they told me it was that my siblings giving out candy told them who I was. That was kind of cool. Get some attention at that age. Another thing I would always in high school, I can't remember if I did this twice or if I did this 3 times. I want to say I only did it twice. We dressed up as the Beatles and played Beatles music in our driveway. And we actually made the front page of the newspaper by doing that. I'd like to find that. But in all honesty, in hindsight, that might have been a little obnoxious. It might have been a little bit. The group actually went on. We did a few shows. I don't think we ever made any money. One of the guys was really enthusiastic about it. I did it while it was fun. I did the whole band thing. Not just that, but I also was in an indie sounding band. And, I just did it until it stopped being fun, which, if you're not if you don't have the attitude, especially when you got people in the group who, some of them are doing it because they want it to be to where they can quit their day jobs. And you got to work really hard to do that, especially in the Midwest like this. Just probably not going to happen. And me, I was just doing it because, it's kind of fun. It kind of gives you a social life. Of course, I spent a lot of time trying to make people think I was smart by sitting off to the side and reading. Uh, Half the time I couldn't even comprehend the books. I just tried to make people smart because while everyone was partying and we were waiting, first off, I wasn't 21 at the time, so it's not like I could drink or anything. But it was fun for a while. I did that from 2013 to 20 to the beginning to like I did that from June of 2013 to yeah, it had to have been 2013. Yeah, to about May. No, it was like till February of 2014. It felt like it was a lot longer than it actually was. And every now and then I would still hang out with that guy. I wonder what he's up to. Last I heard, he moved to Fort Worth. The guy who ran it, and he was the guy who was taking it seriously. I saw him on the local news the other day. He's like selling cell phones now, and, and now he's on the news. And it was so bizarre because, I'm not going to use his name or anything, but just to see this guy in his personal time and then to see him on the news, it's like, whoa, just what is life? And this is not in any way entertaining to the people listening, but it is to me. If you knew the guy, he was a character. I don't want to say anything bad about him. And if he were to listen to this, he'd and not looking for himself, he would probably know who he is. So I wish no ill will towards him. Um, yeah, he's a passionate guy. He's doing his thing. That's that. After this, I'm gonna watch that movie. I still haven't seen it yet. The Disaster Artist, I think, came out last year. Got my hands on it. I enjoy The Room. I think it's a fun movie. It's not my favorite, so bad that it's good. I think it's probably my third. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to so bad that it's good, Troll 2's the best. I love Troll 2. Uh, Next you got, I don't know, maybe it's tough between Birdemic and The Room because Birdemic is pretty. What makes The Room special is the production value isn't like horrible. Like clearly there were enough people involved to make the movie look presentable, and I guess that was the case with Troll 2 either. Also, that was not the case with Birdemic. That was just a dude with his camera and taking some Windows 98 special effects. I don't know if that movie would work if it looked better, because looking horrible is kind of a part of it. It looks like something my friends and I we made a lot of videos in high school, and that movie looks a lot like something we would make if we like made a huge time commitment to it and everything. I love going back and watching those. Those are some precious memories of mine. They're on the internet and everything. Maybe I'll tweet one out. No, I can't do that because that would reveal my identity. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. I hope I don't turn into one of those guys who only thinks about high school. Because I'll be honest with you, high school was probably the most fun 4 years. Well, no, junior high was pretty great. I'm just, right now I'm working hard, and I know I've been told by people, we keep thinking of life, enjoying it later. That's life. Right now we're just working, but from what I understand, this is life right now. It's not going to get any better, so you need to enjoy it, and I think I need to do a better job of that. Because a lot of times I feel like I'm constantly working hard now so I can relax in the future. But then I hear that can become a trap where you're working hard now so that you can work even harder later, and I don't want that to be a thing. Um, I just want to get out of school. I've been in school too long. I've explained my case on that now. I love where I work. I think I'm going to do relatively well in the field I'm in. I would like to advance. It's something that's important to me. I don't know how I got onto that topic, but then again, that's why this is a rambling show. Oh, I never got back to a pop culture thing. Oh, can I think of anything? Brad Pitt sang the national anthem, or Brad Paisley, I think. Have a good Halloween, everyone. I'm going to a party tomorrow night. Hopefully, it'll be all right. I'll let you know next week. Take care, and you have a good weekend. Have a spooky Halloween. Bye.